G'day and welcome to Kenty Blitz, your daily hit of NRL news. Kenty, back on a Monday. Great weekend of footy. You enjoy that?
Yeah, I think we're starting to get a bit of a clearer picture now. It was about
Yep.
the finals. It's an interesting weekend. Like the Warriors were a little bit disappointing. I know we'll go through it all in a minute, but it's been really confusing, I think, heading into the last weeks. But I think the weekend really cleared the picture up in many ways.
I think part of that is just how the draw has fallen in that these last kind of 3 or 4 weeks have some big games. And so those teams probably haven't played each other as many times during the season as normal.
Yeah, fair call.
And, so, the business end seems to have these games which are important to the top 8. Let's start off on Thursday night, obviously with the Panthers going down to the Storm.
Yeah.
Great game.
Terrific game. Look, we don't expect anything less when these two teams play. They always just are a high-quality team. They're two great heavyweights that just circle each other. That's what they remind me of. Like that,
it's good.
They
analogy.
know the game's coming up
analogy.
before the game. Before they get there, and out of that, they bring their best game. Mentally, they just through the threat of the other team. Mentally, they're just switched on. They don't have to work to get themselves into that state of mind. I think it dominates their thinking all week because they know what they're up against, and so they come in pretty sharp every time. And Thursday was no different to any other.
What do you think of the penalty at the end of the game on the obstruction rule?
Okay, I've got different views on it. Yes, Leota, he did take a small step. Okay, the minute he did that, he was gone. I do think if Harry Grant, part of the rule is the block player cannot stand directly between the play of the ball and the kicker. I don't think Leota was. I think he was slightly to the outside. I think Harry Grant actually didn't run a straight line. I think he went to Leota to actually get it, which is essentially what Nathan Cleary accused him of after the game, saying he played for it. He definitely did play for it, even though he was running past Leota. He stuck his arm out to sort of hook him and exaggerate the incident. But that all said too, Nathan Cleary was deep enough to kick the field goal. They weren't going to get to him.
Yeah.
And Leota didn't need to be there. So that's the other side to it. So I'm a bit... Yeah, it's an interesting one, but I'm a bit sort of each way. I can see both sides of the argument. Yeah, I can just see both sides of the argument.
Do you think they need to look at the rule or not?
No, I don't think they do because I don't know how you resolve it. Okay, but I don't think looking at the rule, what changes can you make? The changes are pretty clear. Leota's not allowed to move. He did. He's not allowed to be directly in front. Well, that could be argued, but even if you want to take that argument. That's a referee mistake. A rule change is not going to fix that. Cleary was deep enough. Maybe Leota, given how deep Cleary is, maybe Leota just knows he doesn't even need to be even in the general vicinity next time. Okay, so there's ways that the clubs can adapt to it. I think and get it right and not have it hanging over them. People talk about Nathan Cleary after the game hypocrisy, because they found that vision of him last year.
You see that round one.
Yeah, round one last year.
Exactly the same thing.
But I don't see it as hypocrisy. Yes, he spoke in total opposite of what he did last year. But that's just the gamesmanship to me. That's just a guy pointing out to the referees that this is what happened, this is how we saw it. And all it is essentially putting pressure on the referees and reminding them, just planting a little seed in the back of their mind that
you owe us next time.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it may not work, but it might. And the point out of it all is, Cleary's there to win the game. He made his comment. They were valid comments. If it was the opposite of what he said, so be it. That happens. New information, you're allowed to change your mind.
I get it. I get it. Yep. Yeah. Well, that's a classic Cameron Smith. Just put that seeded doubt into the referee's mind, and you never know what will happen next time.
Exactly. It may or may not work, but the fact is, I don't see it as a major blow on Cleary for saying that. I just think, mate, he's just trying to work every angle he can, and good luck to him.
Kenny, the thing I love about watching Melbourne is whenever you watch Melbourne, you always become a smarter viewer. They always do little things, and Pappenhausen's fantastic at it. And Harry Grant did it again. I mean, do you think Harry Grant's a genius for what he done, or is it or is it Melbourne?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. What Melbourne have got is great game awareness. They've got a deep understanding of rules and interpretations and all that. And it's fascinating. You would think as a professional rugby league player, part of one of the most basic parts of your job would be to know the rules and certainly know the rules that are specific or fairly general to your actual position. Sometimes you see some guys, though, and they've just got no awareness of what the actual rule is. Okay, we saw another one on the weekend. I think it was Nwanga Tuinuasi when he had put the foot over the line. All he had to do was touch the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just a guy who just knows the rules. I was quite impressed when I saw him do that. That he's actually this early in his rugby league journey was up enough on the rules. Now I'm not surprised playing at the Roosters. He's been made that's been made aware to him. But there's a lot of teams you do see who've got no idea. And even now, the amount of times you see a player pick up a ball, take a quick tap, when it's inside the 10 metres from the try line when they're not allowed to do it, and you think, mate, what? Like you've just cost yourself. And in order to try and take advantage of a quick tap, you've actually cost yourself time because by the time the referee blows his whistle, sends you back, all that sort of business, the defence has got more time to get set. So Melbourne don't surprise me at all that they're so well schooled. And Harry's the best at. He's a very, very clever player. He's been that since day one. And his little move at the end there, even when you watch that little bit at the end was when he's at dummy half there, okay, and then what I'm talking about here is that try he scored to win the game in overtime. He almost pauses at dummy half for just a step. And it's just from his standards, he's actually he gets out of dummy half quite slow, but I think he did that deliberately to let the defence get an extra step down the field. Yeah. And if you watch it again and just watch how it's just a slight little pause there. The defence takes off to try and get to Cameron Munster. And by the time Harry picks the ball up, he's made his mind up because he's seen how quick they are out of the blocks. They're nearly past him already. Dylan Edwards was offside by a mile. Well, that would have been interesting if it had gone to Munster. But, so just little things like that, which clearly they've worked on. I think it just shows you how clever they are.
It's interesting because they always say champion players, the game slows down for them. Yeah. And they have more time to do things. It doesn't matter what sport you play. They say the same thing about Messi in football, you know. And that was clear in that play on the weekend. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah,
and look, Harry's done it before in similar situations. So, look, you don't want to sound sort of half smart after it's over, but it wasn't a total surprise. It was a bit of it was a good surprise.
Is he the smartest player in the NRL at the moment?
Oh, look, he's in a developed print with Nathan Cleary, isn't he, at the moment? Like Cleary's got. There's two kinds. The way I see it, there's two kinds of intelligence on the football field. So, which comes under sort of game awareness. One is that emotional awareness. Okay, and one is the situational awareness. So, situational awareness, for example, was Nathan Cleary a couple of weeks ago, where he sat down and and even I'd say Harry on the weekend. What do we need? Where are we? What do we need? And Nathan, a couple of weeks back, we need a field goal. But it's got to be outside the 40 metres.
Yeah, I mean, that was phenomenal. Yep.
That was just great situational awareness. He knew where the clock was, he knew the score, and he knew where he needed to be standing. Emotional awareness is a little bit different, and I would put that down to blokes who often, and these can be forwards too, who can sense in the game that things aren't working the way they should be working and something different needs to happen. So they will change their tempo. They will just do something to try and provoke a response out of their team. And sometimes that can be like a back rower going mad in defence and knocking 2 or 3 over or whatever. Okay,
putting him on the back, come with me.
Yeah, come with me, let's go. And the great players have got both. I would dare say, Nathan's probably... He's got great situational awareness. He probably needs to work a little bit more to get to that truly elite level. Like he's already an elite player. But I mean, Andrew Johns, for example, I think had great of both. He knew where he was in the game, but Andrew Johns, one of his great qualities was when he was behind. Okay, we need something here. It's not just a kick to the corner. He would try and do something, and sometimes he'd try and do it defensively. Andrew Johns. We've seen Nathan get
come
there
out with a big hit off the line.
Just get up and do something, and everyone goes, you know what? I'm with him. Off they go, and just emotionally it lifts the team.
Yes,
and it's very it's the great players have got both.
Give me a couple of players that you've seen in your time. 2 or 3 players who are the best.
Oh well, look,
Footy IQ.
Footy IQ. You talk about Cameron Smith had great Footy IQ. There was an Origin game years back. And they got a New South Wales kick, put the ball dead. and Queensland tap, and they just tic-tacked up the middle of the field. And then when they got in the right position, Cameron Smith, he just set the whole thing up. And then they tic-tacked up the field, and I think they threw it to Cooper Cronk. He kicked the field goal, they win the game. And Cameron doesn't get it wrong. Cameron got it slightly wrong. I think Nathan's a little bit the same this way. Cameron got it slightly wrong, I think, in the 2016 grand final. Now, he made 70-odd tackles, so you can understand him for being a little bit fatigued at the end and not probably thinking as clearly as you would like. But in 2016, when they were getting beat by Cronulla, he was so disciplined and staying within what the game plan was that I reckon in hindsight, and you can only say this with the benefit of hindsight, but in the last 6 or 7 minutes, Melbourne probably needed to go, you know what? We've been going for 70-odd minutes here and we haven't cracked it. We probably need to try something a little bit outside the square. Now, the greatness of Cameron was one that he never deviated from that, and it got him far more wins and losses over the course of his career. But in such a big game, in hindsight, yes, you probably go, you know what, let's just try something a little bit different here. And that's where I think Andrew Johns had great genius. He just had to, he was like Mozart. He just sat down at the keyboard and off he went. Whereas some players, it's the emotional side is harder to acknowledge and to because that can often be the danger. I don't want to play emotionally. I've got to stay with it.
He's a hothead.
Yeah. So it's a fine line. But
what about someone before that, 10 or 20 years ago? Anyone?
Well, Peter Sterling had great. He had great footy intellect, as we all know. A lot of even a bloke like Paul Langmack was a back rower. He was just a clever ball player. He had great situational awareness. Bob Fulton was another one. Bob Fulton had it on both sides. Look, he played a different position. He often played the centres, but you look at back, I think it was a 73 or 73 grand final, I think, when he scored the 2 tries. 73 or 72, I'm not sure which one it is now.
We'll give you that.
Give me that. I was only two or three at the time, so my memory's a bit vague. But anyway, look, I just think, there's a lot of great players who have got that. But on the weekend we saw it, and I think we are seeing a lot more of it these days because they are so well educated.
Very good, Kenny. Let's talk about Friday night's game. The Warriors very poor against the Dragons.
Terrible. Yeah, I think put a fork in the Warriors now. Okay, I know they're still sitting in 4th spot. They are bravely trying to stay there and hang on, but they couldn't put the sword to the Dragons. And given what had happened in the game, what about what we've seen in the last few weeks? We've seen 2 players get taken out of game on the one play with hamstrings, and a week later 2 players do a sort of Three Stooges head knock together.
It's almost like 2 bulls, going against each other.
Oh, yeah, it would have been an awful noise on the field too. But, and they lost 3 players, the Dragons, on the HIAs. And even given that, the Warriors just couldn't put them away. And I think there's real concerns about the Warriors now. I think they've been brave all year, but I don't think they're finding a way to get through the injury to Luke Metcalf.
I want to ask you about the 3 HIAs on the weekend for St George Illawarra. And the speed of the game now has changed, completely changed, and the collision's changed. I want to ask you, do you think there needs to be a change in the off-season whereby there's, talk about how potentially there's 6 on the bench and only 4 get used? Because on the weekend, St George Illawarra had Terrell Sloan on the weekend. I think that was because one of the other wingers was struggling with a hamstring. So they put him on as the 18th man, and then 3 forwards go down. Yeah. And it was pretty much over. When the third bloke goes down, the game's over, right?
Although it wasn't.
I
was about to say, in this case, it probably wasn't, though it was. Look, sometimes, though, the greatest performances are those backs-against-the-wall performances, and they're the ones... They're the ones you're right about. They're the ones that stay on in the game.
Yeah, good point.
So I'm not against that. It does make it more difficult to win the game. Problem with getting more HIAs or allowing more on the bench and all the rest of it is we're already battling this idea now with clubs faking HIAs to get free interchanges. So if you put more on there, to get it, and there's a chance it can get truly exploited come the real big games at the end of the season.
The grand final.
Well, if you get a grand final, if you've got 6 on the bench and you're allowed to activate a bunch, you get HIAs, 2 HIAs or more. Yeah. What's to say you just don't say, okay, at the 60th minute, boys, you're going to get an HIA, you're going to get one at the 62nd minute, you're going to get one at the 64th minute. We're going to run on 3 fresh players.
I get it.
Who are going to defend our way and at the time, it'll happen. It'll happen one day, and everyone will go, this is rubbish. This should never have been allowed to happen, but you won't be able to change the result.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, for the grand finals, that's the one exception, maybe State of Origin as well. But I think now the threat of having the weekend off after, which is what happens with these 3 St George Illawarra players, means that people aren't going to fake it. But who knows?
They certainly weren't on the weekend faking it, and it really damaged their chance. I thought Saints were a great chance to win the game, obviously before it. When that happened, though, they were gone. But yeah, look, it's a tough one, and it's really one I think a lot of people have solutions, what they think works best, but I don't think there's one that fits neatly in the bag that everyone goes, you know what, this is perfect. It's what we'll do. And I think it's another headache for the NRL, to be honest.
Well, the game after that was the Roosters and the Dogs, and the Roosters really stood up, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they put a marker in the ground and said, come and get us now.
Yeah, they're probably the form team in the comp at the moment, and if not, they're not far away. They've really hit the ground running in the last few weeks. And the thing about the Roosters, they really bullied the Bulldogs on the weekend. And it's going to be interesting now because the Bulldogs has been this little query about the size of their pack, what they can...
Yeah, well, let's talk about that because they had, they had kind of 4 back rowers.
Yeah.
Including Reid Marnie. We'll throw Reid Marnie in there as a back rower or a utility player. Kurt Mann, they had Jamin Salmon and Brayley. No, sorry.
Hayward,
sorry.
Yeah.
So those 4 back rowers stroke hookers, and they only played 2 props.
Yeah, but they don't have big props. So that's the problem. So if there's an Achilles heel about the Bulldogs, and I think other teams have recognised it. One thing is they had these small, mobile, agile, high work rate players, and it would really advantage them at the beginning of the season because they came in, they played a style of football that was a little bit different, that high energy style, which
on the back of Burton's kicks too. So they turned the other team around, and the other team's forwards would have to go back further than they had before.
And they're doing all that, and they really wore teams down. But what other teams they've gone away, as happens in the rugby league, they've gone away, they've sat down, they've worked it out, and what they're trying to do, well, what they're doing the Bulldogs now is they're just trying to bully them through the middle and really just work their forwards over and just basically take advantage of the fact that their players are so much bigger than the Bulldogs players. And there's been some success about that. Cameron Ciraldo was very disappointed with his side on the weekend.
See those comments? Interesting comments, weren't they?
Well, what do you say? If players aren't going to have
if players aren't going to turn up to training, they won't be picked.
Yeah. And he said if players aren't going to
turn up in the game.
Turn up in the game, not a training. Turn up in the game. Yeah, they won't be picked.
When the intensity went up, a few guys didn't want to go with it.
Yeah, and that's
quite telling, right?
Well, it's a bit of a sledge for the players.
Yeah.
So I think it's a real line in the sand moment for the Bulldogs. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond to that. But I tell you what, it's true. Like the Bulldogs, they're at where they need to be. Ciraldo's gone through all the pain of Toby Sexton and Reid Marnie. He's got the side basically, I think, as best as he thinks he can get it, aside from injuries. And then on the weekend, they put in a performance like that where the Roosters, as I say, they went out, they went to bully the Bulldogs, and they got bullied. And I think it's a concern for him. I think it was a bit of good coaching too. I think he's put them all on notice now, and we'll see a significant difference this week.
Do you think he makes a change there at 7 and 9?
No, I don't think he does.
Yeah.
No, I know there's a little bit of talk about it here and there, but I just can't. I think he's gone through the pain of getting those players there that he wants there, that he thinks do the job. I don't think after that loss on the weekend that he says, oh, hang on, I've made a mistake. He plans too much. He doesn't act emotionally. I think he's got clear reasons why he thinks this is the best decision. And even though they lost on the weekend, I don't think he puts it down to the 7 and 9 as such.
Well, the problem for Canterbury and the NRL now is that unless Canterbury beat Melbourne, there's no home final. Well, and so all of a sudden they're 60,000 fans.
Yeah, that's a big thing because, look, all
they'll
clubs
play in Melbourne probably.
All clubs, in Melbourne.
Yeah,
the way it's heading. Yep. So the way all clubs want that home ground advantage through the finals, but Canterbury probably get more of an advantage given the crowd that turns up for them.
Yeah.
So out of that, obviously the NRL want a big crowd as well. But out of that, what happens is, I think the Bulldogs, they're going to struggle a little bit now, and the danger for them is the way it's looking. They're going to go to Melbourne week 1 and try and have to win down there.
Imagine the Qantas flights on that. Now they'll be through the roof already. Can you imagine that? Boys have to start driving.
Yeah. Anyway,
what do you think of the Roosters? I mean, on the back of Sam Walker,
they're great. Yeah, Sam Walker's just a wonderful player. Sam Walker's
old school, isn't he?
Look, the great. He's only played, I think he's got 14 try assists from 6 games this year. Sam Walker, which because he hasn't played many games, he's not right up the top of the ladder of try assists. But the fact is, on a ratio, statistically, he's averaging 2 a game, and I think the next best is just over 1 a game. So,
yeah, right.
So he's just
stat was that?
Yeah, that's thanks for our friends at Statmate. Yeah, but that's statistically he's just at another level. And he's got this great ability, Sam. Yeah, which is to make the defence react before he reacts, which so many playmakers these days are pre-programmed.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to catch this block play. I'm going to throw it to you because that's what we did in train. That's what I've just called. And often it doesn't matter how the defence reacts. They're still throwing the pass. Sam's just a wonderful, intuitive player. And I think what he's done to the Roosters this year, like once he's come back, he's just transformed them. They're at another level with him back in the team.
And Hugo Savala, it's interesting. The drums are beating now with, Savala's on 80,000 and DC's coming in at 800.
Yeah.
And the pressure on the Roosters just keeps going up and up and up. And if they keep going deep into the finals, it'll be hard to make that decision to bring DCE in. Well, I think.
Yeah, depending on what's already happened that we don't know of.
Yeah.
What is also interesting there, though, too, is Andrew Voss was speaking about DCE after the game on the weekend and had this sort of prolonged chat with his wife as he was coming off the field. And he said it suggested to him that he basically said he's done. And so, obviously the disappointment of the game, which Manly probably cost them the semi-finals now, losing that game. So I don't know, but look, there's so much we don't know. It's going to be interesting when it all comes out with DC, where it's at, what happened, and what does come out, just sort of how right everybody was or how wrong everybody was, because I tell you what, it's a weird story.
So, question without notice, who's your favourite commentator? You mentioned Vossi there.
Oh, I don't really have one. No, I don't really have one, to be honest.
Okay.
Some annoy me, but I won't get into that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What about Warren Smith from a great Bonnie Doon Golf Club? Well done, Woz.
He loves his golf.
He does. Good golfer too. Mate, I want to talk about the Sharks. They got, they pummeled the Titans on the weekend.
Yeah.
But did they miss their chance during Origin? Do you think they've left their run too late?
Well, you know what? All through Origin, we thought Origin was a period that they would make their move on the ladder.
That was your point. You mentioned it ad hoc. Not ad hoc. Many times.
Ad nauseum.
Ad nauseum, yeah. Similar.
But what we did, Anyway, but out of that, though, was, and a lot of people thought the same thing, but I think they went through that, and they were 2 and 4 through that period.
Yep.
Okay. Now, out of that, they didn't make the move on the ladder like we all supposed. And we saw it at the time as a bit of a missed opportunity. But I think now, given the benefit of hindsight, given what's happened at the rest of the season, I think it was probably actually a fair indication of where they were.
Yeah, okay. Well, they lost to the Roosters, they lost to the Warriors, Broncos and the Storm, and they only beat the Dragons and Dolphins. And
if you think you think of where the Sharks are now, that's about fair,
right? That's where it is.
You can see them losing to those teams, and you can see them beating the teams they won against. So I think it just sort of showed where they're at. I think we all sort of had them as a top 4 side at the beginning of the season. I know they got out early, and they did place pretty well early on the ladder. But I think where they're at now is probably where they're at. I don't think they'll be winning a comp this year. But it's an interesting one. I don't know what the Tigers have. They've got to the Sharks got to find a little bit of X factor there. They're just
a bit predictable, maybe.
Well, they're just. I think I don't know what it is, but they're just a little bit short in class in a couple of areas.
A big loss, Cameron McInnes too. Looks to be done with his ACL. That is a massive loss for them.
And well, he's one guy you don't want to lose, isn't he? But I tell you
I'm hearing he could have played his last game for the Sharks.
Well, his face will be happy because I've never seen a bloke that ever comes off a football field with more marks on his face. So it'd be nice to give that a rest for a while.
Yeah, I'm hearing he's a big chance to go to Perth.
Oh, really?
Big chance. Yep. So he might have played his last game for the Sharks.
Well, Perth won't be next year though.
No, but he's got his ACL, so he's basically out, right? He
may come back. He might come back towards the end of next year. Well, I think he'll get back with he'll get back with a few games, but we'll see.
Does that capitulation by the Titans, is that the end for Des now? Because I cut you off. We talked the week before that maybe he did have him on side and then they just got smashed.
Yeah, I don't know. I look, any team running last has that in them.
Yeah, okay.
I think emotionally he got him up for a while. We had the big blow up a few weeks back where he got him up emotionally. Yeah. They did perform pretty well. But emotion can only last so long too in teams.
And that loss to the Rabbits would have sucked the life out of them too.
Well, that was a kick in the guts, wasn't it? So I don't know. Look, I hope it's not the end of Des, but it certainly adds to the case against him, doesn't it?
Certainly a character we'd want to keep. Mate, the Battle of Brisbane, semi-final type football between the Broncos and the Dolphins was a fantastic game. Yeah,
it was mad, wasn't it? It was funny. Like the Dolphins looked like they were home for all money there, and then the Broncos. They're a funny side. They're still finding their way again. You can see what's happened. The change in halves. Mam and Reynolds are out, and Hunt and Billy Walters took a little bit to probably get going, but once they did, the team started to gel a bit.
Hunt was good. Hunt was good, particularly the second half.
Yeah. Well, look, he's an international class player.
350-odd games.
Yeah, I don't know where they go, though, the Broncos. They're still not quite where they need to be. But, they're still in the fight. I don't think they can finish fourth, but we'll, they're certainly building towards next year, I suppose, if you want to put a positive spin on it.
Yeah. All those
they won't want to admit that yet.
All those injuries for the Dolphins seem to be adding up now. They seem to be out of gas, right?
Well, you can only sustain it for so long.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? Like you have these teams who they get their energy up, they play on it, but it seems that that emotion can only be there for so long. And the Dolphins did the same. We talked about earlier that the Warriors did the same. Like the Dragons have got up emotionally. I think the Rabbitohs are up emotionally at the moment as well. But you can only sort of sustain for 2 or 3 weeks, and off they go. And, I think they're buggered though. Yeah.
Well, one team who definitely has lost their, I guess their energy and their emotion is Manly. They seem to be gone now. Tigers have finished them off on the weekend.
Yeah, that was a funny result, wasn't it? So God bless the Tigers. They go out and they win the game, and Jerome Luai sort of walks off after the game and he says, look, it keeps the dream alive to make the finals and give the fans a bit of hope. They've just beaten Manly, who walk off and just say, okay, well, that's it. Finals are dead.
Excuse me. Even though they're on the same points.
And now they're on the same competition points. So it's just, it depends whether you're standing in the gutter looking down or laying in the gutter looking up, I suppose, doesn't it?
Have you seen that movie Dumb and Dumber where that
we've also
where he goes, I'm
still a chance.
So if you give me a chance,
exactly.
That's it, isn't it?
That's optimism at its best. So,
I said that to my missus once at Cargo Bar the first night I met her. She said, "You're no chance." And I said, "Am I 1 in a million?"
Well, you're our Harry. What are you? Harry Lloyd or whatever his name.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, very good.
Harry, anyway,
mates. What about Seabold?
I don't know where he goes.
Does that result make a difference?
No, I don't think. I don't think he's in trouble. I think he'll be there next year.
Right. Okay.
So I think that's there is a bit of a talk about him. The concerning thing is that there's some talk coming from players, but I think he'll survive that.
Okay. Let's just touch on those other 2 games. Rabbitohs beat Para. Let's say more about the Rabbitohs or Para at the moment.
Oh, I think it says. Well, again, I think Parramatta went through a period where they were up. They played well for a period of time. And look, Wayne really needed to get this win out of the Rabbitohs to get them off the bottom. He won't speak about it, but you can be sure he'd love to retire and say he never won a wooden spoon.
Yeah, okay.
So I think that was paramount in his thinking. What I think was really noteworthy is how he's handled that. He hasn't put pressure on the players. He's gone the other way, which takes tremendous discipline on his part to do, to not try and pour work into them and make sure that they're sharp and they're concentrating and the intensity's there. Wayne's just gone the other way.
That's experience, right?
Yeah, that's his experience. And he's done that. He's got the win now. And Parramatta, they were up, but they played some. I think Parramatta were probably a little bit guilty of thinking they were just going to win. Phone the win in and off they go. And they got caught with their pants down, to be honest.
What about the Cowboys and the Knights? Dog of a game.
Oh, mate, it's probably not what we want to end the show on, mate. No, it was pretty awful. That was an awful game. But we expected that.
Yeah, we did say that.
You know what I mean? Like neither side's got much to play for. The only interesting thing to come out of that is the bloody Newcastle Knights now are an outside chance to get the spoon if things don't go well for them. So who knows? But they've just both got bigger problems than losing on the weekend, those clubs.
Kenty, you've had a shock this morning. You just wanted to say something?
Yeah, my uncle Dave Kent out at Orange, he passed away this morning. He bush football legend. I just wanted to obviously pass on my sympathies to my father and my mother and my aunties and uncles and my cousins and whatnot. But he did have a little footnote in rugby league history. He played in that 1974 Western Division team.
Yeah, wow.
He didn't play in the final against Penrith in the MCO Cup where they beat the Panthers. He was replaced by a little winger. Well, I wouldn't say a little winger. He was replaced in the side by a bloke called Terry Fay, who went on to do a bit.
Played for Newtown, I think, didn't he?
He played for Roosters and South.
Roosters, yeah.
But
Roosters,
the Redford Express he was, and played for Australia. So he was a very, very good player, Terry Fay.
Yeah.
But my uncle, he played against the Great Britain tourism side in '74 and all the rest of it. And I've spoken before about, he had this football with it all signed by him all, which used to mesmerise me when I was a kid. But obviously he was just a great man. He one of those bush football legends.
Yeah, right.
And
big influence on your footy when you were young.
Oh, not really,
no.
But clearly, no. But he was just one of those guys that there's 1,000 of them in the bush who just are really just lifetime clubmen.
Love the game, right?
Love the game, was good at the game, become a local legend at the club. Come through as a young kid full of promise and finished as captain coach as an old man on rickety knees. But anyway, he's just a great fella and he's going to be missed.